What the fuck is up, guys? My name is Nick, you're watching LaughNGrowFat, and I'm sure that you saw, based on the title of this video, that this is gonna be another one of those. So, here's the deal. It's gonna be like my Angry Joe video, but I'm not gonna be as aggressive as I was in my Angry Joe video, and that's due to the fact that he wasn't really attacking people who play Call of Duty per se the way that Angry Joe was. Having said that, you might be wondering what the fuck I'm even talking about, and that is that Cleanprincegaming decided to upload a video on Call of Duty. Now, the funny thing about this video is that he actually has, as far as I could tell, removed it from his channel. One thing I will let you know ahead of time is that he showed a bunch of gameplay from the beta and actually technically the reveal pre-alpha in his video. I'm not going to be showing that gameplay. I'm just going to be playing the audio from his video because it was like this. It was a voiceover anyways. What you're going to be seeing is gameplay that I've captured and recorded, and that's what you're going to be seeing in the background. Okay, so I'm just going to go over this. Let's just go over it, right?
What was bad about this beta? And the first thing was the most obvious thing, which is they try to turn Call of Duty into something that it never has been and maybe never should be, and that's this weird, well, really, actually, the rumors of it being some weird Overwatch clone early in its development, and that having to change and shift because that wasn't working and no one wanted that, turned out to be pretty accurate. In fact, that's kind of what Black Ops 4 became.
I don't know what he's talking about because there, as far as my recollection goes, there was no rumor or leak talking about how it somehow shifted during its development. It's exactly how it was when it was revealed, and that means that what he's referring to is that people didn't like it before it was revealed, and I don't know how that makes any sense, but whatever, let's keep going.
It's this weird Overwatch wannabe hybrid situation that doesn't quite make sense to anybody.
That doesn't make any sense. You can't say it doesn't make sense to anybody because guess what, boyo, makes sense to me? Don't necessarily think it's okay to generalize and say that obviously nobody likes this, or nobody knows what it's supposed to be, or nobody likes, something about it. And he tends to do that a lot in this video.
Now you have things like health pickups, which don't really work with a game that moves as fast as Black Ops 4 does.
The game normally doesn't have health pickups. The only mode that has health pickups is Heist, but his video came out in between the first weekend and the second weekend of the beta, and Heist mode wasn't in the first weekend of the beta. So to me, there's no way that he could have known about Heist mode, so how does he even know about the health pickups? Other than that, there is no health pickup system. In every other mode, it's just self-healing as opposed to auto-heal. So I don't think that that's what he's talking about.
Especially because it's in between this weird lawbreakers but boots on the ground space. It's not really something that functions the right way.
I don't know exactly what he means by that because, again, he's just using super vague wording here. But my guess would be that what he's trying to say is that it feels like it isn't boots on the ground, but it's supposed to be boots on the ground. And my argument would be I don't know exactly how, because, again, he doesn't explain himself, how it doesn't feel like boots on the ground. Let's be clear here. Let's be specific. It has no more or less movement than something like Call of Duty World War II. The difference comes down to the fact that you can, for most things I would say, still shoot your gun. So if you're using stim shot, when you're healing, you can still shoot your gun as long as you're using that equipment. If you're mantling, you can still shoot your gun. Stuff like that. And they mentioned this during the reveal. All guns up all the time or whatever. But there's no wall running. There's no thrust jumping. The boost slide is not a boost slide. It's just a regular slide. The way that it was in Ghosts. Whatever, let's just keep going.
And with that, you have a body armor system, which would be fine, I guess, if it didn't rely on those health pickups, but even more importantly, if it didn't create this weird time to kill situation. That's probably what you've heard about when it comes to Black Ops 4 beta.
Body armor is a piece of equipment that you equip. It gave you 40 extra health. Let's say an AR that was shooting 35 damage per round at, mid-range or whatever. It wouldn't do damage to the actual character. It would just do damage to the body armor. So you'd have to put an extra hit into him. But once your body armor breaks, it's gone, and you can't get it back until you die and respawn, which means that it's not something that you can recharge in any way. The other thing is that there are armor-piercing rounds that completely negate the body armor and destroy it, so that's a way to counteract the body armor. And you can also aim for the head, because if you hit him in the head and get a headshot, the body armor isn't taken into account. Now, let's hear what he is talking about as far as this body armor issue goes.
Time to kill is ridiculous. It's strange. It doesn't work. It makes the game feel like this weird bullet pinata thing that doesn't quite make any sense.
What he's talking about is the fact that the body armor is a point of contention right now in the Call of Duty community. Some people want the body armor changed. Some people want the body armor removed entirely. And I am of that mindset as well. I really don't think that the body armor adds something that is necessarily good, because unlike what he explained here, it leads to inconsistency in gunfights. So sometimes you will get the kill that you should have gotten. Sometimes you won't get the kill that you should have gotten because of that body armor. And it's frustrating. The point that he hits on here, that it messes with the time to kill and it turns into this bullet pinata, I have no fucking clue what he's talking about. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what a bullet pinata is. I don't know how specifically what he means by messing with the time to kill, because yes, it technically does mess with the time to kill by making it just a little bit longer, but that's not actually really the issue per se, is that the time to kill is all messed up now, because most of the time you're not running into body armor, and so most of the time the time to kill is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's just when you run into someone with body armor that you need to hit him with an extra bullet or two, and that is inconsistent, and so it's frustrating. But I don't necessarily think that he expresses that point very well, because I don't know that he even knows that that's the thing that everyone is complaining about.
And it makes the game feel like a MOBA that doesn't know it's a MOBA. It, again, kind of feels like playing a match of Overwatch if Overwatch was trying to be Call of Duty.
And then he says that. Fucking, it's like a MOBA that doesn't know that it's trying to be a MOBA, like it's Overwatch. Well, what the fuck do you mean? MOBAs, or multiplayer online battle arenas, that's like League of Legends and Dota. How is this game in any way, shape, or form similar to League of Legends? I don't understand. Or Smite or something. Like, I don't understand what he means by that, because he didn't elaborate at all. But then he says Overwatch. Overwatch is not a MOBA. Overwatch is a hero shooter, and so if you're going to compare it to something, please compare it to something consistently. Don't compare it to League of Legends and then immediately compare it to Overwatch, which he will continue to do in this video, but let's keep watching.
And there were other things that were wrong with Black Ops 4. It felt different than every Call of Duty, and a lot of people might say, well, yeah, that's great, you know, that's what we're looking for, but the problem is it didn't feel better than other Call of Duties. It just felt different. It wasn't some positive evolution. It wasn't a devolution. It was just this weird stagnation in a strange horizontal direction.
So I don't understand how it can be not a bad thing, not a good thing, but it's bad. So it's neither bad or good, but it's bad because it's neither bad or good. It's bad because it's different, but that's not a bad thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He's contradicting himself here, because I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I don't get how, if it feels different, it's stagnated. Then he says this.
It kind of felt like ice skating at times. It felt like it wanted to be boots on the ground, but it didn't want to quite leave behind that feeling of the jetpack era of Call of Duty.
So it felt like ice skating? What does that even mean? Like, you're sliding around? I don't understand, because he doesn't elaborate on these things. But then also he says it wants to be boots on the ground, but it can't leave behind the jetpack stuff. And this is to my point that I made earlier. What exactly about it still feels like it's a jetpack Call of Duty? What about it still feels like you can wall run and boost jump and thrust slide or boost slide or whatever?
It just felt, I guess the best word, which doesn't really make any sense, but it's the only way that my mind can wrap around it, is cartoony.
You're right, that doesn't make any sense.
And it doesn't help that it also looks cartoony.
That also doesn't make any sense. Let's use an example. Wind Waker, right? Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. That game is called cartoony. Everyone can pretty much agree it's cartoony, right? Why is it cartoony? Well, let's break it down. It's cell shaded. It's using a lot of really flat textures, right? Just solid colors. There's no gradient to them. There's no bump mapping. There's no definition. It's meant to look that way because that's similar to the way that a cartoon would look, right? Character models, they have weird proportions. Their heads are big, their legs are long, their arms are stubby. They're shaped weirdly to sort of emulate that kind of cartoony style. And Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is, like every other Call of Duty, going for a realistic look. I would be okay with him saying that it is cartoony looking if he actually fucking explained why it was cartoony looking. But as far as I see it, it is not. It is not any of that. If he would just fucking explain any of these points, then maybe I wouldn't be so confused.
But it felt cartoony. It felt like I wasn't moving with real human beings. It felt like I was moving with these weird bipedal characters that want to be human beings but just aren't quite there yet.
Are these Metal Gears that we're talking about? Like, bipedal characters that want to move normally but they just can't? Like, I don't understand what that fucking means.
It's weird how Activision is kind of trying to turn Call of Duty into Destiny, game by game, and this being its biggest attempt yet.
I would like some clarification on which games feel like Destiny. There have been 4 Call of Duties that have been released since Destiny came out. So the Call of Duty that came out immediately after Destiny, in November, following the September that Destiny came out, was Advanced Warfare. There's no way that you can tell me that Advanced Warfare was trying to be like Destiny, because not only is it nothing like Destiny, but also it was being developed at the same time that Destiny was being developed, so there was no way they could have looked at Destiny, saw the success, and said, hey, let's make Call of Duty more like that. I don't understand how Black Ops 3 would be like Destiny, but let's just say that maybe Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare he thinks are like Destiny. How the fuck is World War II like Destiny? Like, tell me, in what way is World War II anything like Destiny? Okay, well, it isn't. Well, if it isn't, then how does that make sense? Saying that game after game, they've been trying to make it like Destiny, if out of those 4 games, half of them, they weren't trying to make it like Destiny. So you can't make a point and just assume that we all agree on the point without backing it up. But he does explain why he thinks Black Ops 4 feels like Destiny. So let's get into it, right?
With the things like the high time to kill and the objective-based game modes.
What? Longer time to kill? That's all this. So Destiny is the only game that has a longer time to kill. And that's what makes it like Destiny, is the fact that it's got a longer time to kill. Objective-based game modes? Are you serious right now? Are you joking? I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. Objective-based game modes is not a new addition to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Objective-based game modes have been in Call of Duty for more than 10 years. Objective-based game modes, even if they hadn't been in Call of Duty for more than 10 years, are not exclusive to Destiny. What about capture the flag, domination, search and destroy, hardpoint? What about that makes it like Destiny?
And really the feel of playing the game, it wants to feel like Destiny, but doesn't. It's kind of a mess. It's not what anybody wants from Call of Duty.
It's not what anybody wants from Call of Duty. Again, he's just generalizing, saying that of course we're all on the same level. Excuse me. So, at this point, you probably get what I'm trying to put down here, right? You probably get the fact that he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't played Black Ops 4. That much is not only evident by the fact that he had to use a bunch of other people's footage instead of just recording his own, but there's no way that anyone who's played the game for more than 5 minutes would make these mistakes. You really don't have to be into Call of Duty to understand that there's no health pickups. You really don't have to be into Call of Duty to understand that Black Ops 4 isn't the first fucking game that had objective-based game modes, and that it's also not a MOBA. You don't have to be a Call of Duty fan. Just play the fucking game, and then maybe you'll understand.
They're damned if they do, damned if they don't with Call of Duty. You want a game to evolve, you want it to get better, you want it to change, but you can't really change it because every little change is going to turn off the hardcore fan base, which is huge in the case of Call of Duty.
And so this is the argument, right? The Call of Duty problem is that they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. If they change it, hardcore fans get mad. If they don't change it, the rest of us get mad. But my problem is, who is getting mad about their changes, right? Like, maybe I don't know. I'm not getting mad about the changes. There are some things that I like, there are some things that I don't like. But the Call of Duty YouTubers, at least the ones that I watch, haven't been that negative towards the game. Like, and even if they are offering constructive criticism because there's little things that they want changed and tweaked and fixed. So what I don't understand is why he's coming to the conclusion that hardcore Call of Duty fans, which is not him, by the way, don't like any of these changes.
While admittedly there was more strategy and more teamwork in the pre-Jetpack era,
go play Modern Warfare 2. Go play Modern Warfare 2 right now and tell me that that is tactical. Tell me that that requires teamwork. What are the tactics? Use the fucking thumper? That's the tactic?
That's great to watch as well. This is not, which is strange of an objective-based game, but I don't think that's where Call of Duty's at its strongest anyway.
Speak for yourself, boy. You might be the only person on the face of the fucking planet that thinks that it's less fun to watch. You can't speak for the rest of us, because I find Call of Duty fun to watch regardless of whether or not it's Modern Warfare 2 or World War 2. It doesn't matter. He talks about these trends, and this part is hilarious to me.
They chased the Overwatch trend to begin with, apparently, and look where we are.
They got on the Overwatch trend? What? Who did? Who got on the Overwatch trend? Activision? Activision got on the Overwatch trend? What trend was that? The trend of making Overwatch?
Yes, we've got the removal of single-player trend growing.
The removal of single-player trend? What trend is that? I don't know of that being a trend that a lot of games are doing now. It's cool to remove your single-player.
And now we have this MOBA, weird shooter, Lawbreakers, Overwatch type of thing going on. That's not Call of Duty at all.
And then he just throws names out, and it's like, yeah, let's just call it everything. Let's call it Overwatch, let's call it Rainbow Six, let's call it Lawbreakers, let's call it a MOBA, let's call it Destiny. It's everything now. What does that mean? Let me break it down for you. The reason he's doing this is because he's not confident in his opinion. And so he's being as general and vague as possible. And that's really the biggest issue that I have with this video, is that he's so vague that it's hard to even pinpoint what his opinion is, besides he obviously doesn't like Call of Duty. And it's hard to argue those points when you don't have the knowledge to back those points up. I'm not saying that no one can argue this, right? But he doesn't bother actually arguing anything. Like, he doesn't have an opinion because he isn't sure. He doesn't have the knowledge, and so he doesn't back anything up. And the big issue that I take with that is that he's got a huge audience, and a lot of people are paying attention, and a lot of people have not played it and are just going to assume, write it off, based on what he says here when he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's basically my main issue with this video. There's this great video, I'll put it up on screen right now, about his Division videos, and someone trying to basically refute what he says about them, because he plays the Division and Cleanprincegaming doesn't play the Division, and it's obvious that he doesn't play the Division, so why is he talking about the Division? And that video kind of sort of inspired me to make this video, because he says in that,
I can't really do a reality check on all the other titles that he covers, because I'm not the right guy to talk about, for example, Call of Duty.
Well, guess what? Ha! I would say Cleanprincegaming, if you're watching this, which obviously you're probably not, but whatever. Fix your content. You're not a bad guy. I'm not calling you out on any kind of personal level. I'm not saying that you even have poorly made content. What I'm saying is that you need to research the games that you're talking about, and you need to actually play them before you talk about them, because a lot of people are being influenced by your videos, and it's not fair to the games, it's not fair to the developers when you are trying to paint this narrative that isn't the actual narrative. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see. I could pick apart a couple of your videos that I've seen on topics that I'm very familiar with, that it was just ridiculous. And I think that you are better than that. And so that's sort of what I leave you with, is for those of you watching this video, know that this is not representative of Black Ops 4. And for Cleanprincegaming, if you're watching this video, pay more attention and stop being so lazy. Play the game, research the game, and make sure that you know what you're talking about. Reach out to people who play the game. If you don't want to put 5,000 hours into Call of Duty, reach out to someone who has put that time into Call of Duty and get their opinion on it. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you laugh a lot, eat a lot, and have fun doing it, and you'll see me, or hear me, who knows, in the next one. Goodbye.